What's going on, people? This is Mr. Pac with the TMP podcast, and here we go again. I haven't dropped the episode in, I say, a week, maybe two, but we back at it again, man. I just want to appreciate everybody that subscribes, everybody that follows, everybody that is supporting the channel. Because without you guys, this channel wouldn't be possible. And my man 50, man. They keep messing with my mind, with my man 50, man. Now T.I. just did an interview. He's been doing interviews here and there, on the Steel 400 with Manny Fresh and Juvenile. He went to, Big Boy's Neighborhood. He's talking about his last album. He's talking about, that this is going to be his last album and stuff, which is good, man. T.I., at first, I wasn't really like a T.I. fan, but as the years went by and listened to his music, he got better and better and better and better. I guess he was already a good artist, but I just didn't, hear it or really paid attention to what T.I., was able to do on that mic. And as the years went by, I started listening more and more and more. And I give T.I. his credit, He has hits. I'm not going to lie. T.I. has hits. He's been, making hits since the 2000s, back in when he came out, 2006, 2005, 2006. Around that time, which I remember. Like I said, I really don't know the exact year when he came out, but I know I was listening to T.I. around 2005, 2006, and then he was dominating, man. But 50's been out since 2002, 2003, when he came out with Wangsta, and then he dropped the Get Rich or Die Trying. He got signed to Eminem and all this change that happened in hip-hop back in 2003, because Get Rich or Die Trying was a game changer. Everybody calls 50 still to this day, and I agree, and I know a lot of y'all will agree as well, that 50 Cent is the last gangster rapper. He was the last gangster rapper that came out in those times. And ever since, 50, it's not a secret, he's been beefing with everybody. He's been, going at everybody. He's been, dominating, man. He's been dominating, and we can't deny that as well from 50. And now, he became a GOAT, man. He's a GOAT. T.I. as well. He's one of the GOATs, because, like I said, T.I. gets busy on the mic. I'm not comparing, T.I. with 50. I know T.I. might, goes a little harder on the lyrics. He's more surgical on the lyrics than 50. But 50 has classics, man. 50 has classics as well as T.I. But 50 has classics that to this day, man, you put it on and it's like it just came out yesterday. You know what I mean? The What Up Blood, What Up, all that, Wangsta, In the Club, all the hits that 50 has. You still put on those songs, and it hits like it just came out yesterday. So with that being said, T.I. just called out 50, telling him that he wants him on the verses, that he'll do him bad. A lot of people are saying that, T.I.'s catalog, it's crazy, that 50 has no chance. A lot of people are saying that just with Get Rich or Die Trying, 50 will end him, because it's a 20 by 20, 20 hits. But what we saw with Cash Money, they shortened it, like they cut it to like 10 hits or whatever. I don't know what the situation was there. I think because they were missing a lot of artists. Wayne wasn't there, Turk wasn't there, Mystical, well, he's locked up. C Murder, he's locked up. There's a lot of artists. Soulja Slim, well, he passed. R.I.P. to Soulja Slim. There was a lot of artists that were missing. So I guess the vibe wasn't really what it was supposed to be. I mean, unfortunate situations happen, and we all knew about this. We all knew that it wasn't going to be a fair fight. It didn't have all the hot boys. It didn't have like Mystical C Murder on there. You know what I mean? But that's here nor there. That you know, they got shortened to 10 hits. And now they saying that 50 and Ti should get in the ring, but Ti is out there talking, man, like he's calling out 50, but Ti, come on, man, 50 is not gonna fucking do it, because Tony Yayo has said it on podcast after podcast that he will never do a versus because 50 doesn't need it. 50's if 50, I think if 50 had nothing going on, if 50 was like most of these rappers, and I ain't dissing nobody, but if 50 was like most of these rappers, that he ain't got nothing going on, he ain't got TV shows, he ain't got documentaries going on, he ain't got tours, I understand that 50 will probably say, what, let's get in the ring, let's get some numbers going, what, we need this. I think 50 doesn't need it. I agree with Tony Yayo. 50's not gonna do it, and he said it before that he's not gonna get in the ring with nobody. Not because he's scared, because come on, man, like 50 has mixtapes, has classic albums, the Get Rich or Die Trying, the Massacre. You know what I mean? 50 has a catalog as well, man. He has a lot of hits. Ti has a lot of hits, but to my liking and to most of the people liking, I don't think Ti has a chance with 50, because you can't compare, records. You really can't put Ti's records with 50's records, because 50, to me, like I said, this is my opinion, 50 to me, his records are like, more hood, more gangster, more like realistic. We all know 50 that everything he talks about, what he talks about in Get Rich or Die Trying, he did a movie about it, so it's real stuff that happened to him. I'm not saying that Ti is not rapping about real stuff, but Ti's music, it's more like Atlanta, like more like for Atlanta, for the South people. And like I said, I'm not throwing no shade. Like I said, I'm not discrediting anybody, nothing. I'm not saying that Atlanta is not, nothing compared to every other, state, city, whatever y'all want to call it. But I think 50's music, relates to a lot more people in the world than Ti's, you know what I mean? So I think Ti should go against an Atlanta artist, you know what I mean? Atlanta artist, a South artist. And like I said, but 50's music, it's more impactful, it's more related around the world, than Ti's. That's why I say that you can't really, mix those styles together. I mean, yeah, they're gonna go hit after hit after hit, but trust me, man, when 50 plays those hits, man, the crowd goes crazy. The crowd is gonna, is gonna feel it, like I said, because it has a deeper meaning to a lot of people. It has a deeper, feel to a lot of people. You know what I mean? Because they're like, damn, bro, like, this is what it is, man. And like I said, I'm not saying Ti's music doesn't do that. Most of his hits do that, but not all of them. And 50's hits, hit after hit after hit that he drops, is gonna give the people that feeling, like, damn, you know what I mean? But I think that it's a good match. But like I said, Yayo has said it before, 50 has said it, like, he doesn't need to do a versus. Right now 50, he's the troller, man. He's the troller. He's even doing commercials. He just did a DoorDash commercial, and nobody's ever done that, man. He unlocked another, stage in hip hop. He made history, that now rappers are gonna start doing that because of 50 and the trolling and whatever he's doing, so that's what I'm saying. Like, that just speaks levels, man, levels. And like I said, Ti, man, my suggestion is just go with, you want to go with Lil Wayne, go with Lil Wayne. I still think Lil Wayne will, wash Ti. Like I said, and y'all can kill me on the comments if y'all want. I mean, but that's the point of this episode, like, let me know what you guys think. I know a lot of people are gonna say Ti. I know a lot of people are gonna say, nah, 50, 50 ain't got a chance, Ti ain't got a chance. Like I said, it's a 50-50. You know what I mean? But it's like the Lloyd Banks Fabulous. It's a 50-50 because they're both good. They're both good lyricists. They both have hits, and they kind of got they have a similar style, But let me know in the comments, what do you guys think? Please let me know in the comment. Share the episode. I know I'm gonna get a lot of backlash. You're gonna say, "Oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about." The hate is there, man. But it's like they say, right? If people ain't hating, you ain't doing nothing right. So I think 50, doesn't need this. He said it before. Like I said, Yayo has said it before. They don't need it. They're out there selling arenas. They're eating duck in fucking India. They're eating camel. I don't know everything that Yayo says. But I think Ti and 50 are not a good match. Like I said, because of that, I think 50's music hits deeper. It's gonna hit deeper, and it's just gonna make Ti, kind of look, bad. I think, my opinion, like I said, I'm a 50 fan, I'm a Ti fan, but I rock more with 50, because like I said, his music just hits different. His music just hits deeper. It just we relate more to 50. You know what I mean? To 50's music and whatever he says, and Ti, I mean, like I say, he has hits, man, but it doesn't hit the same, in my opinion. But let me know what you guys think. I don't think 50 is gonna accept. If he accepts, this will be a bomb on Verzuz. I think it's gonna be one of the greatest verses ever. But like I said, 50, he already put out tweets. He's already put in old Ti videos that when he ratted and all that stuff. He just started trolling Ti, which I think is a good move. Like I said, remember what I said about the Nicki, the Marlon, everybody that's messing with 50, man. It's a good promotion stunt for y'all, because 50 right now, he's a man to go at. If you want to get something going, industry rappers, industry out there, if you want something, if you're gonna drop an album, if you want to make a movie and you want to get some buzz, go at 50, man. 50 will make you fucking, he will make people watch what you say. He's gonna make people, say like, oh shit, this guy's going at 50, and then you promote your shit, and there you go. So Ti, you gotta thank 50. Ti, obviously, he knows that 50 is the cash cow right now. It's the buzz right now. I don't know what to say about that, but I mean, y'all know what I mean. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think. And like I said, I think 50 is not gonna do it. He's already trolling Ti. He's already gonna, start doing what he does. And Ti, I hope everything goes good with your album. It's your last album. Give us more hits, man. But I think you should go against Lil Wayne. Leave 50 alone, man. So let me know in the comments. And remember, work on top of work. Like, share, subscribe. Let's go.